so tough. You're so thoughtful, you're so. You're so. You like it too.
Yo, welcome to Average Takes. Basically, man, it's just a set of friendly chats with awesome friends of mine about specific topics. And friend today is my super awesome talented friend Lavender. How are you doing?
I'm great, Israel.
Yeah, and I think today the topic is something I know zero about. I know absolutely nothing about, and it is tarot cards, right?
Yep.
That's what you call them.
Yes.
So first off, how did you get into tarot cards?
Well, let me see. I think I got into tarot cards because I've always been kind of fascinated by them. I feel like I've seen them throughout my childhood or something somewhere. And it just sparked my interest. I really enjoy the unseen aspect of things, the magical aspect of life. I've always been very attracted to it. So when I think about it, I'm like, how did I even come across tarot? I don't know. I watch a lot of YouTube astrology videos, and a lot of the times there will be tarot readers doing tarot readings for different signs. And that's what taught me a lot about tarot. So it was definitely before then, but I don't know when I came across.
So, but and then, when do you, I guess, try, start reading them? Is that what it's called, reading them?
Yeah, reading tarot. I'm not super skilled at it, but I do know a lot of the fundamentals. I have books on it and that kind of thing. So most cards I know the gist of. But I've been doing it now for probably 3 years on my own.
So walk me through it exactly.
Okay.
Each card has a thing, right?
Yeah.
like a figure on it.
So there are 72 cards in a tarot deck. They're separated by major arcana and minor arcana.
Wait, what's arcana?
So that's just the name for the trump cards. So the major arcana would be, I don't even know what the word arcana means actually, but I'm guessing it's just some sort of genre system. I don't know what, not genre, generalization of what the cards are like. So the major ones are major events in your life, and the minor ones are the details of the major events.
Right.
And each card, so this deck that I have here, it's called the Deviant Moon deck. I ended up losing a card from it. So what I did was I took all the minor ones out and just kept the major arcanas. So sometimes I use these, but it'll be a card. This one's the Fool, which is the very first one. It's separated as a story. So it tells a story of somebody throughout the whole thing. But the point is that each card has a lot of symbolism behind it, right down to the way that it's dressed and where it's going. The Fool represents a new journey forward and stuff. So you could read this card. Yeah, the Fool it's called. So it's kind of
if I was going to have someone read my card and then they brought out the Fool, I'll feel bad.
You'd be like, what? I know, right? And it's funny because there's the Death card too that scares people a lot, which I kind of have a story about that. But the Fool card, it's very interesting because it would sound like it's kind of a bad card, but it's totally not, because for the most part it just means that you're moving into uncharted territory and you're doing so eagerly and kind of aloof and just kind of ready for whatever comes forward, and with a happy mentality.
So so I say I come to you for a reading. Do you pick out 2 cards and that's it, or how do?
So
if
you came to me for a reading, which you probably wouldn't want to that much because I don't do tarot readings yet, because I won't be able to give you as much as, I don't know enough to do that. But there are oracle cards too, which are slightly different. I would do an oracle reading probably.
What's the difference between the two?
So tarot is a certain specific set of cards with names that like they'll all be the same kind of thing except for the different designs. And then oracle is more of like a lighter energy deck that doesn't have the same names as tarot and stuff. It's just kind of whatever cards they want to put in there. And so it'll say like appreciation or like broken heart and like stuff like that. Whereas these ones, you have the 4 suits of cups, air, earth, and fire. And those represent different things as well. But like, so.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, well, I can see why you're finding fascinating now. So, like, if they're all like the same, how do you decide what to buy? You know what I mean? Like, is it just, oh, I like this design more than this one?
Yes. Typically for me, it is the design that I'll go for because the very first set of tarot cards that I received them from my mom for Christmas. It's the very first set of tarot cards ever documented. It's called Tarot de Marseille. They're from France. And they're really old, and I didn't really resonate with them because I found them very difficult to use. They're huge, really hard to shuffle, and the designs were really hard to tell the differences too. So I wasn't really a huge fan of that. And so I switched to cards that usually when people start reading tarot, they'll go with this deck called the Rider-Waite deck, which is very straightforward. It's the type of design that is usually in most of the tarot books that teach you. So you can learn better kind of thing to get the gist of it. But I like to go for strange depictions of things like these ones here. As you can see, they're pretty creepy.
Right.
The Chariot.
Is that the Chariot? Did he say the Chariot?
Yeah, and it was reversed.
Oh,
so
okay.
I wouldn't really say, Death card. But these are all major arcanas, so there's only a few in here that...
What would be the minor ones?
So the minor ones, you've got, that's where your fire, earth, air, and water elements come in. And they'll tell you just about details about it kind of thing. So let's say most of the time air, if you had a 7 of Swords card that you took out of the deck, the depiction is somebody walking around with swords in their hand, and they're looking around their shoulder, creeping on the low kind of thing. So it usually means like a very sneaky energy, or somebody is sneaking around, hiding something and that kind of thing. So those kind of details is what it would give you.
Okay, so
energy.
You don't do readings for people, but like, how do you use the cards for yourself?
Usually I'll just pull a few, and sometimes, like, the beauty about tarot is that a lot of the time, like, yeah, there are the set meanings for the cards, which is very great to know, but a lot of it's also very intuitive. So you can look at a card and you can look at the design of it, and if it seems that way to you, then usually that's what it means to you. You know what I mean? So, like, for me, I'll just pull cards, and I know, like, the gist about most of them, so I'll get the idea, and then maybe I'll stop at 3 and do, like, a past, present, future reading, and that will help. Or if I really feel like it, I'll just keep cycling through decks, and I'll keep putting cards down to give more and more explanation and kind of just, like, get a bunch of details from it.
Is it in order? Do you know what I mean? Okay, well, actually, let me ask So, like, see, if you get Fool, then you get Death, then you get, like, does that mean whatever it is you are trying to get a reading of, it's happening that way? You know how you said past, present, future? Does that mean the Fool is the past and the Death is the present and whatever comes next is the future?
If you decide to make it that way, it will. So if you decide to do a reading like that, that's what it will depict. Like, there are different spreads, and the spreads are the different ways that you put the cards down, and they give you more specific meaning because each placement of the card will be a certain thing. But for the most part, you'll know kind of if it's kind of like a thing like that. But usually it's not really set up that way. It'll just be like telling you stuff that's happening and telling you details about stuff that you're wondering about.
So when you when you get the card, do you say, okay, say for instance, I like this girl, and I want to see if we'll be together. You know, do you have to have, this is it. Do you have to set an intention before you start bringing it out? Do you know?
You would want to, because if you just pull randomly, you'll get a message, right? You'll get a message, but if you direct your energy to that certain thing, you'll be able to get a clearer message and it will help you more, kind of thing. So, because like the way it works is tarot, they're divination tools. So it's really connecting you with the spirit realm. So you're getting messages like from higher entities that are kind of sourcing through the cards, right? So that's what tarot is about. It's like you're connecting to the other side, and people, spirits, entities are giving you messages through the cards. That's like the same thing with ruins and that kind of stuff.
Is it scary though?
Or your higher self. Well, it's only scary because I feel like society has made it seem scary. Because, well, I mean, it can be scary. Definitely. It's no joke about that, because you spend your whole life being told that certain things don't exist, and then when you find out that they exist, you're just like, it's just like a reality shaker. But I'd rather know than not, though.
Right. Okay, you mentioned that you had a story about the death card.
Yeah.
What's the story?
Okay, so I got that Tarot de Marseille deck from my mom, the very first deck of cards that I wasn't really vibing with. But it was Christmas Day. Sorry, Boxing Day? No, Christmas evening. And I was at the table and I was just shuffling the cards, whatever, getting to know them. And the death card kept popping out. And at the time, I was dating this guy who was a Scorpio. So the zodiac sign Scorpio is represented by the death card in the tarot. So I just didn't really think anything of it, because I was like, he's right there. Like, it's probably what it is. But it came out like 13. I always want to say 13 times whenever I tell the story. I don't know exactly how many, but it was like roughly around there. So I just didn't think anything of it. But then later that evening, my grandma was staying with us and she died that night.
Holy shit.
So at first it really freaked me out, because I was
Right.
like scared, but then I used my mind and I'm like, the cards are just doing what they're supposed to do. They were telling me what was happening. It wasn't them that caused it. They were just
Right,
telling me
right.
it was coming. So that was interesting with that deck.
Wait, though. But if I remember, you say the death card doesn't always mean death.
Doesn't always, but it also does have the meaning of death. It also means rebirth and endings and that kind of stuff. So it could mean other things, but then in that case that evening it did mean literal death. But for like 99% of the time it doesn't.
Right. Okay. Okay. Like, wow. Oh, wow. That's
Good story.
that's wow. Yeah. Holy shit. So are they linked to like star signs in any way?
They are, yeah. So that's something that I really got acquainted with well whenever I was watching all these friggin' YouTube tarot videos as well, because they'll be like, if a certain card comes up, they'll be like, oh, it must be this sign. Like the chariot that was pulled, that's associated with Cancer of the zodiac. When's your birthday?
My birthday is December 4.
Okay, so you're a Sagittarius?
Yeah, the horse and arrow guy.
Right. The centaur, I think. So your card is Temperance in the deck, which usually stands for, I see it as patience and being patient. That's kind of how I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm super duper patient, I think. So maybe
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
nice.
I'm super patient. Like, I can wait for 20 years for that thing.
No, my
If I
God.
really want it, I'll wait for it.
Here's your card in the Tattoo Tarot.
What tattoo? This is a different one.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of decks. So
How did this, like, if it's all the same, right? Why are you getting so many or different?
because they're minute differences. When every deck is made, the person will alter the images and stuff and give them a little bit of their own spin. So it just kind of adds a different flavor to it. Although it's the same recipe, you know?
Ah. Okay, so we all cook with eggs and bacon, but you know how one person puts salts is different from the other
Yeah,
person's salt.
exactly. So you'll have
But like,
it'll
how will
taste.
you now interpret the taste, or you know, like the slight difference? So, for instance, if you bring out the full in the other one and then the full in this one, you know
Would you
how
know?
yeah, exactly. You know what I
So
mean?
usually the creator of the deck will tell you the differences between if they're small. Like they'll write it out, and you usually have like an instruction little manual or something in there. Like or you'll just go online and look at what the creator's mood was or what their aim was for that, and so you'll be able to figure it out that way. And then also intuitively, because you can feel the energy of the cards that comes with it. So you're like, like I have another deck here, the Aleister Crowley deck called Toth, and I really really love this deck because he uses the same tarot landscape with all the different cards, but he adds planetary alignments, zodiac signs, and then changes certain words on them too. So then it really starts to take on a really unique reading, and I found them to be really accurate.
Well, okay, so when was the last time you did a reading for yourself, and was it accurate?
The last time I did a reading for myself was uh probably like last week, and I did find that it was really accurate. And it told me things because tarot doesn't sugarcoat. So, oracle cards do. If you want a softer reading and you don't want to be like, bitch, this is what's going on, then you're gonna go to oracle cards. But with the tarot, like they'll rough you up, buddy. What I saw, I was just like, shit, yeah, it's true though. So they told me what was up.
Okay, wait. So, you know, you say have an intention before you read it.
Yeah, ask a question.
Yeah, exactly. Is he gonna be like, yes, do it, no, don't do it type thing?
There's not really yes or no, but there are certain energies that you'll be able to read. So let's say if you were to ask about a certain relationship and how things are going to go, and then you draw the tower, that usually means a very abrupt ending, not a very like a chaotic situation. So it will give you, it'll say no without saying no, because it'll tell you that shit's about to pop off and it's probably not great for you. Or if you draw maybe the Three of Swords, which is the heart with the three swords in it, well, you're probably going to end up in some, you know, third party situation or end up getting your heart broken and shit like that. So
Oh man. Um so I guess and how do you, so it's like when you get a card, does it come like with a manual, like what each card means?
some
Do you
of
know what
them
I mean?
do. Some of them do. This tattoo deck came with like a tiny one, but this one didn't. Which the Toast one, I had to go online and look it up, and then they gave me the details there. But I did get this on Wish, so I don't know if I got it at like another store if it would come with something like that. But
Wow. Okay. It's fascinating.
it really is.
You know, every time you come on here, you kind of blow my mind.
Oh,
You know, and you were mentioning that it kind of links with astrology. So I think the next time you come on, then we should talk about that.
yay! Okay.
Because all I know, yeah, I mean, for instance, I didn't even know the thing's name. I just know that because of my birthday, it's like a horse and a man. I think I like that. I like, you know, because it's like I don't know, two cool things, like a horse,
Totally.
like a
And
man with a horse body or whatever.
Sagittarius is a great sign as well. It's like I always love being around Sagittarians. I'm an Aries, so there are three fire signs: Leo, Sag, and Aries. So we share kind of the same energies in that sense. But like,
What is wait before you go on, fire signs?
yeah, so Sagittarius is a fire sign because it's separated by the elements. So there are 12 signs of the zodiac, and there's three of each element. So there's three air elements. I think it's called Fixicality. No, fuck, I don't know. There's a lot of big words in astrology. It's crazy. Like there's a lot, but yeah, Sagittarius is the adventure of the zodiac with like a higher perspective, a broader view of kind of like the bird's eye view of the zodiac as a person. It's cool. and laid back. And usually they're very blunt or sarcastic, which I think is super funny, but or lighthearted.
What, the other thing is, like, in the newspaper, they always have something either daily or weekly. How can they have it daily?
Because the way astrology works, it's the study of the planetary alignments and constellations and stuff. So because the stars move in the sky, then the different energies also take on different forms, so it will give you different readings. So you could do it every hour if you wanted to, because every half hour I'm pretty sure things actually change.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you come back to talk about that. But before we end today's episode, like, what do you want people, the audience, to know or understand when it comes to tarot cards?
I would love the audience to understand that they can be a really beneficial tool to you. If you can manage to use them, they can help you avoid a lot of mistakes and make correct decisions, because it's kind of like the know-all be-all. If you can tune into that aspect of things, like, you'll be able to have a lot easier time, and you might not be so confused about things that confuse you. Like, if you can really learn to read them correctly, then you can almost counsel yourself in that sense by things. So,
right, okay, Lavender, thanks for that. And like, so you can just get any card online. It doesn't,
Yeah, you could buy any deck that you wanted. Most people start out with the Rider-Waite deck, which I think would be a good suggestion for anybody if they're looking to get a tarot deck. They could start with that one.
All right, okay, I'll try but wait, so here's the thing though, like, now everything is kind of like online and stuff. Do they have like online version so you can just go click it and like it opens and stuff?
Oh yeah, you can definitely do online tarot readings as well. And to be fair, since it's like everything's energetically linked, it can still be probably pretty accurate, although I like to have them in my hand because I'm just one of those people.
Right, okay, all right. Yo, Lavender, thank you so much for that. I'll have you come back so we can talk about astrology and other fun stuff you know about.
Okay, that would be awesome.
You're so thoughtful, you're so thoughtful. You're so thoughtful, you're so. You're so, you like it too.